Welcome to Frantically Speaking's podcast, Beyond Hard Skills. I'm your host, Radeep, and here's where we discuss what it takes to make it in your career beyond degrees, technical skills, and hard work. Let's get started. In today's episode, we're joined by Kranthi Kumar. Kranthi currently works at Kyndryl, leading over 100 people. And in this episode, we're not just going to discuss his career growth, but how he's grooming a large team to become future leaders. Let's get started. Kranthi, thank you so much for joining us on the Frantically Speaking podcast. Currently,
My pleasure.
I've been working with you for, I think I know you since last year. It's been approximately a year since we crossed each other's paths. And I've always found you a very interesting personality from a professional perspective, because you've always seen things from a very different perspective. Even when I've asked you your opinions, I'm always curious to know what you have to think on certain aspects of life and technology and culture and people. And today I want you to share those opinions with the world.
Sure.
So I would like to start off by just asking you, Kranthi, can you tell us a little bit about your journey, your professional background? You're from India, you shifted to the USA. Tell us a little bit about that journey and how you got to where you are today.
Okay. So I think that's a very interesting story, I would say. Reason being, I hadn't had any vision or plan to be doing this particular activity, role, or profession or anything, right? I would say I went with the flow, and I actually put in the effort and sincere effort, and was convinced myself and the others who are around me that I'm capable of whatever I was doing at that point in time. And I always look for something new beyond my particular role or particular journey during that professional career, and look for something more all the time, and strive to work towards that and put in the effort. uh, to be honest, I was fortunate enough to be able to work with extremely good leaders, because without a proper leader, you you won't be able to get to the heights that you wanted to in the career. And throughout my journey, I have actually come across so many leaders right from the beginning of my career, who actually guided me, helped me, actually kind of what do you say? So kind of actually mentored me a lot, that helped me to come to a certain stage. So I would say yes, there is a significant effort, because I've started with nothing as usual. I came to Hyderabad probably around 2004 after my BCA. I did my BCA in back at my hometown in Andhra. So I came just with the BCA degree. I didn't have any masters, nothing. So I wanted to see how I could get settled with the degree that I have in my hand. I wanted to do the masters also in parallel, some kind of distance education. That was always a plan. I never wanted to wait for the masters to complete and then start the career, because that was a very competitive period back in 2004, 2005. The IT boom was pretty good. I knew I wanted to come to IT, but I had no clue, being coming from as a very village background, right? So my all my study was in a village close near Rajahmundry, and then I had my degree and intermediate done in my in Ramchandrapuram East Godavari. So there was very little exposure for me to understand what is the path, what is the career, what is the IT technology that offers from a professional standpoint. I came to Hyderabad. I started a very small job, like kind of a data entry initially for a couple of months, and then got into a hospital as an IT IT engineer. So, and then I parallelly started learning like everybody in Hyderabad. So most of the people in US who came from Andhra, they all talk about they come from Amirpet. I'm no exception to that. So I actually learned so many courses, both in technology services like infrastructure support and also software development. So because when it comes to IT, there are two parts always. One is development, and application support. Another was in this infrastructure and anything associated with that. I didn't know which path would actually choose me or I would choose. I went for both. The hospital experience that I actually entered into gave me opportunity to put my hands into both. But I was a little more enthusiastic towards the infrastructure services. Then I started expanding my courses, learning curve into that while I was working in the hospital as an IT engineer for a few months. Luckily or unluckily, it doesn't matter, but I actually within 8 months I became the manager for that particular area. It's a very small organization within hospital. It's but there is a significant IT infrastructure with 3 4 people. My manager wanted to leave. This is the example I wanted to give, because this is how you actually get the opportunities and grab the opportunities, and you need to have your right mentor leader supporting you. The manager who actually was there kind of saw the fire in me. He kind of groomed me a little bit when he needed to move out for a different opportunity. So he made sure that I would be able to deliver the services to the client, which is the hospital management, and then actually introduced me to the management, kind of established the path for me, convinced them that I'll be able to do it, and gave me the opportunity. Within 8 months, it was a miracle for me that I didn't realize that time. It actually worked well for me to understand the overall contract context right from the beginning in terms of leading the infrastructure space, taking the responsibility of your activities and your team activities right from the beginning. I think that actually really helped me to where I am today. Without that experience at the start of the career, it would have been a different journey.
You
So,
basically you grabbed what you could without realizing it at the time, but
right,
by just being sincere with your work and by ensuring that
absolutely,
you're making yourself useful. That was
that's correct. This is the start. I mean, the reason I actually wanted to emphasize on for anybody, this the sincerity and the commitment at the start of the career is very important, because once you have that ground rules established within your mindset, that will continue throughout your professional journey. That's a very very important ingredient that you need to adopt.
correct.
So it gave me that opportunity, and I had help with my leadership. That was just one of the initial instant, right? It continued throughout my career. There I had worked with so many people. I'll give you an example of where my I would say it's not profession, it's like global technology services entry happened, right? So a hospital was a localized activity. So I started working there. I worked for 3 4 years. In the meantime, I attended an interview in Thomson Reuters in 2007. I actually went to the high tech city, and I actually turned back, saying, looking at those buildings and all, this is not my cup of tea. I couldn't attend the interview. But I just somehow something clicked in my mind. I'm almost here. Why not look at the office and go back, even if whatever
How
happened.
old were you?
I was, uh, I mean, just around after degree, right? Like probably around
22
20,
or something.
20, 21, 22, kind of that days, right? So I just went to the office building just to look at the office. I knew because the communication, I was a Telugu medium student. Everything I mean, parallelly when I was looking at learning the technology, I was also having some kind of focus on English right from the degree stage. When I was in college itself, I somehow wanted to pick that language. I couldn't master it all the way, but at least there is a gradual improvement right from that time. So I was able to do a little bit better than anybody else within this class, than within the organizations that I worked, like hospitals and all. So there is a gradual improvement. So far, that journey continues even for today. That never ends, because the roots are different for me in terms of language and the learning that I had. So that particular incident where I actually went to attend the interview, even though I was not very comfortable and I actually not within my comfort zone, break the shackles. So I attended the interview. I was actually doing the trainings, learnings, and all. It is not. It's the support infrastructure is extremely vast. There is a lot needed compared to what I was doing. But I was actually learning that stuff. I was able to answer some of those things. Some of those things I was able to not answer or that stuff. But I would mention that name. He's the guy actually completely changed my career. I got into the IT world after my initial manager Srinivas Reddy, who actually helped me to get into the manager role and good job into follow me hospitals in Hyderabad, then I moved to Thomson Reuters because of extremely good personality more than a manager. He's a great leader, but from a personality perspective, once he believes the person, he will go to the extent. His name is Haragopal Ravi Varma.
Can you give any example or instance of when you felt it? Because the
I,
whole theme of this podcast is to talk about how people focus too much on technical skills and degrees
no,
and everything, but this
right.
goes beyond that, and that's what we want to.
It's a beyond that. I want to give this example. I actually tell you how this journey started. There is an important question he asked at the end of the interview. I'll tell you how that completely changed the context. Yeah, I was able to answer most of the things. I was not able to answer a few things. He asked one question: did you perform these activities? Did you have a hands-on experience, or did you learn the technology? I I actually told him without any hesitation, I learned this technology in Amirpet. I'm still learning. I haven't had the complete hands-on experience, but these are the tasks that I'm doing at this hospital. So he kind of, that is the point. I believe he trusted me, that this guy can be trusted. He's very, very sincere and honest. That actually changed my mind. So he made up his mind that I'm the guy to take. Within internally, he's also having this management chair. There are other interviews are happening. For 1 month, he didn't select anybody. He's the first level of selection guy, right? He's the manager for that. It's a newly established organization that time in Hyderabad. I was probably, he waited for 1 month, did not select anybody. Later on, he was supposed to go for his marriage. Somebody needs to be filled in. So his bosses were asking him what is happening, why there is nobody filled in. So he said, he's the guy I actually selected, and it didn't process. So if you're comfortable, go ahead and process. Then he actually got my next level of next rounds, got it done, everything process. So look at the way the leaders actually change your fortune, right? So had he not, he didn't have to wait for me. And he knows that I didn't have the experience, hands-on experience that needed for that particular activity. He knew that he can train me. He knew that he can trust me with the role that he was supposed to take, right? He waited for me. He gave me that opportunity. That is how I entered into the corporate world. That changed my entire perspective. That changed my entire career. Without that opportunity, I wouldn't be here for sure. So he's the pillar. He's the game changer for me in terms of my life. That I will never forget. So this is why I wanted to give this kind of context, detailed context. Your sincerity, your effort, your commitment will pay off at some point. You just need to be very honest with what you're doing. That's the whole point purpose of me being. There are so many other instances. They have a lot of other people. I am here in US just because of one more manager that I work with in IBM, Kalyan Punugu. He and Ajay Shetty. So these are the people. They know that I've been very interested to come to US. There are so many other opportunities they gave within internally, where I joined as a technical SME within IBM. Then I eventually became a manager, then a second line manager, then a leader in a delivery project executive kind of thing. To cut it short, so I've been very consistent, focused on a US opportunity, which is very difficult in IBM GTS world. There are two different functionalities that we have within IBM: GBS and GTS. Now GTS became Kyndryl. It's a separate entity altogether. So we are part of Kyndryl now. So that application area, which is GBH, Global Business Services, they actually work in the similar fashion. We have on-site opportunities offsite. In GTS, it is little difficult depending upon the need and all that stuff. But compared to GBS, it's very less. So I've been waiting for last 5 6 years, but I made up my mind. That's what my path is. I've been very sincerely working, very commitment was there is an absolutely at the top notch that I've been doing. I was consistently delivering the stuff that my leadership is expecting. At some point, there was an opportunity, and my managers, especially Kalyan, stick to that, made sure that I actually get that opportunity, and I landed here.
Fantastic.
So there at every stage, there are two things. In my opinion, there are two things that actually contributes for your growth. One, your sincerity, commitment, and honesty. to the leadership that you are working with. That is something not in your hand. I also had some ups and it's not like every manager or every person that I work with is great, right? So there are ups and downs where you should be able to emotionally challenge yourself to cross that particular duration. I mean, you will have those bad patches. You just need to have the willpower to go through that process, come out of it, right? So this is all journey. Nothing is perfect, nothing is consistent in this professional world. You just need to keep crossing each path and patch. It can be bad one, it can be good one, and eventually you'll get to your goal. So after
Fantastic.
coming 2 years also, I was really surprised to get into a very good leadership. I was again fortunate, right? And again, this is a very interesting opportunity, right? I came here to a particular role, but when I came here, there was nobody else to look at it from the overall contract perspective. We were actually doing the renegotiation with the client, who has a complete understanding that actually helped in the new leadership that came to focus on getting this particular contract extended. So when I landed here, I was the only guy they can actually have talked to, get input. I grabbed that opportunity again. So I jumped into that while doing my day-to-day job. I got into the leadership activities in terms of the sales and solutions part. I worked with both the sales executive and the delivery executive, who is my US boss, where it is beyond my actual roles and responsibility. But I've struggled with that timings. I did some sacrifices in terms of family time and all initially, where I could establish and gain their trust. Now I'm extremely at a good position within good books for both my manager and my, I would say, delivery executive and the managing partner.
I believe
So
that you currently that story was absolutely eye-opening, right? For a lot of people who are feeling like, oh, I'm from a vernacular medium, or how will I make it through the corporate team, the corporate world and everything. If I'm not mistaken, at least last year, I'm not sure if it's increased or changed now, but you used to manage or are currently managing a team of over 100 people.
correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah. So I managed the team over 100 starting at the last 5 years. Eventually, the numbers fluctuated. That's a different story, and the responsibilities changed. So
Correct.
it's all about. See, I think people need to see that you are sincere, whether people you are managing or people you are being managed. As
Correct.
long as they see and they trust you, everything goes well. Because unless you're being a leader at my stage or anybody's stage, if your team doesn't trust and uh, mingle along with you and then focus with I mean work towards your goals, which is again organizational goals, it is very important for you to become a successful as a leader. That's a very important one. You first thing, you need to gain the trust of your team. That and for that to happen, you need to be very sincere and honest with the team. Until unless that you have that bonding generated, it is impossible to become a, because this is all these are the things I learned with my bosses, my leaders. The same thing I actually transform towards my operations and my way of working with the team.
And now that you've been managing so many people for so long, one thing is, of course, that they should be technically proficient. But
Correct.
beyond that, as a leader, what do you look for in people in your team, that if they have these, like how your leaders saw something else in you beyond your technical skills?
Correct. Correct.
So
Yeah.
what do you tend to look for in people beyond the technical skills, that you feel that I am also going to make sure he or she is put up there?
Absolutely. And the reason actually team trusts me, because the way I actually, somebody helped me to somebody pick my skill set and my honesty and sincere effort towards the deliverables. I also look for the same kind of qualities in my team, and I give the opportunities, and I go to any extent in, if possible, to make sure that they are actually rewarded in any possible way. Maybe it's
So I'm sorry, can you tell us besides honesty, that's one thing that is there, right? Besides that, specifically in the tech world,
I'm
if
coming to that, right? So basically, you need to have two things. One, you need to have the right level of skill set to perform your current job, and you need to have the right level of mindset to be able to challenge yourself and go and do beyond what you're supposed to do. So if you somebody is willing to come out of the comfort zone and is striving for something more and committed towards that, that's all I look for. See, technology can be learned, right? If you have certain technical skills and you have to go to the next level, you can actually bridge that gap by going through the training sessions, learning path. But if you do not have commitment to do that, it will never bridge. So I look for these things, right? People who are very, very committed towards challenging themselves and going beyond what they can do. And if I knew somebody is able to do that and somebody fits into that role, I don't think too much. I'll put that person. I'll put that person into that particular role or position or opportunity, and I will actually guide them, mentor them towards reaching to that. So as long as person any resource is committed towards doing their going to the next extra mile, that's all I look for. And I've done that for so many people, people who actually work with me. I I can proudly say that they would always like to work with me. So that's the environment I normally create. As a leader, that is important. You have to have an environment that is very comfortable for the organization, for the team. As long as a leader, you can actually make sure that is taken care. Rest of the thing, your team, who was technical people who are supposed to execute, will take care of that for you. As a leader, your primary focus is the strategical scenarios that will help the organization to go in the right direction. At the same time, create the very, very comfortable environment for the team, so that they can actually strive towards the next level of activities that they need to do.
Final question is that when it comes to hardcore communications skills, what would you say in the tech world is the most important aspect from a communication standpoint that people should look to develop? Is it public speaking? Is it negotiations? What do you think it is?
Okay. So I think instead of specific topics, I would say in the tech world, the only difference that I've noticed is people who is not shy and not what I say, if they are not actually scared to talk, if they have already have the right level of technical skills, then they will do good for sure. But people who are actually having so much of technology skills and extreme level of skill set, if they are not actually able to present their skill set, not able to talk, they're hesitant to put their thought process in front, are usually wouldn't get the deserved path or deserved career growth that they actually have to, right? So this one thing they need, I always tell my team, I always tell anybody, forget about what you know in terms of language. Just talk about what you know in your technology, what you're trying to open about what you want to tell. It's okay. Language can be a barrier at sometimes. It's fine. So if you're able to put to the context properly where others are able to understand, that is more than enough in today's technology world. So with that, you'll actually gain the confidence. You'll understand where you are lacking in terms of the clear and precise communication. You will start putting in your effort and approaching towards your goal. So I think I'm also in the same boat. You could see where I was probably in a year. I'm not at the same level today, right? So tomorrow I'll not be at the same level. It's a gradual journey. Nobody can become Pradeep or somebody in the English communication world, right? So our focus is about the activities that we perform, the deliverables that we do. At the same time, we should be able to communicate in a crisp, clear, concise way. That will only happen if you are willing to talk, if you are able to express your thought process, and not shy about your communication skills and language and all that stuff.
Fantastic. I think that's a great note to end this particular conversation on. Thank you so much, Kranthi, for agreeing to do this in the first place. I hope anybody who's listening to this, who's looking to get into tech, or if you're already working, but you're in an execution level, how to move on to a leadership level beyond technical skills. I hope this conversation has helped you out. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for listening.
absolutely.
Any final words that you want to say?
No, I hope I was able to give some kind of insights and able to help contribute a little bit of understanding, or the whatever the journey that I actually gone through, kind of help people to uh, think differently, if it is I am able to communicate in a way that I actually help them, I'm absolutely fortunate. So thank you for giving me the opportunity, and it's really my pleasure for to talk to you and give my insight and give able to participate in this podcast. I really feel lucky to be part of this, and thank you very much, Shahrid.
Thank you so much for being with us to the end. If you found this useful, do share it with someone who might benefit from it. And if you're looking for more communication and soft skill tips, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Lastly, if you would like a step-by-step process to improve upon your communication skills to accelerate your career growth, you can go on our website and book a free communication consultation call with me. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next time.